Today, 20 Indians, clad in white, Columbia blue and black, have a chance to do what's been waiting to be done for years. That's to bring home a class championship, this time in 4A. Standing in their way, a popular nemesis, the Hamilton Southeastern A. 2007, 2010, the black, the blue, the red, and the white of Hamilton Southeastern dashed the dreams of many St. Joe Indians and brought home a state championship back down to Hamilton County. This year, a new generation of Indians joins the flock, led by Chris Cleva, along with Nick Cleva, Dave Gilbert, and Al Frank. The boys from downtown South Bend hope to erase 31 years, frustration, sadness, aggravation, and write a new chapter in the history of the St. Joe hockey program. What promises to be a great game between two fine, storied programs will take place on an ice sheet in Dyer, Indiana, in the Central Time Zone, far away from either campus. Two great programs set to take the ice in the 4A state championship game of the 2020 Indiana State High School Hockey Championship. Hockey the way it should be. It's Hamilton Southeastern, South Bend St. Joe, and it comes to you live next on the Regional Radio Sports Network. You're looking live high above Midwest Training and Ice Center here in Dyer, Indiana, for the 2020 Class 4A State Championship game between the number 3 seeded South Bend St. Joseph Indians and the number 5 seeded Hamilton Southeastern A Royals. Good afternoon, everybody. J.P. Joubert, Nick Duranick, Dante Stanton. Glad to be along for the ride with all of you. South Bend St. Joe, 3-0 in the playdowns last week. They got by Adams, a team that had knocked them off in the city tournament last week by a score of 4-2. Then took care of business against Zionsville, and then had a thrill ride against Penn, a game that they trailed 2-0 and came back and won in overtime 5-4 on a goal by Carson Meisberg. For Hamilton Southeastern, the ride was a little bit easier. Knocked off South Lakeshore St. Joe, then took out Penn, and then knocked off conference foe Zionsville 3-1 to earn a date here in Dyer, Indiana. Going to bring in my broadcast partner, Nick Duranick. We had a chance to see both of these teams last weekend in the playdowns in South Bend. South Bend St. Joe got an outstanding goaltending performance all weekend long by Kyle Tupper. Hamilton Southeastern got goal scoring by committee. Something's got to give today in a matchup between two of the state's powerhouses here in Dyer.
You look at both of these teams. One is a very defensive, strong team in St. Joe. One is a very offensive powerhouse in Hamilton Southeastern. And it's really going to come down to who is going to crack first, who's going to make the other crack first, and who's going to really play to their fundamentals and the way they play hockey. And when you look at it on both sides, lots of speed, lots of strength, lots of size going both ways. And when you come down to it, it's going to come down to the guys between the pipes. And you got a guy like Kyle Tupper who has time of, in two sports defending a net, one in soccer, and then here on the ice for hockey. And he is a guy that can stretch it out. He's a guy that makes some unbelievable saves, and he's been able to do so to keep St. Joe going in the state, and even had a very successful time in the Michigan High School Hockey League games earlier and throughout the season. So it's going to really come down to who is going to make the other side crack first.
We got a chance to talk to Adrian Render, the head coach of Hamilton Southeastern, get his thoughts on the playdowns as well as this upcoming opponent in a very tough and talented South Bend St. Joe squad. Welcome back to Regional Radio Sports Network's coverage of the 2020 Indiana State High School Hockey Championship, the Class 4A title tilt between Hamilton Southeastern's A team and the St. Joseph Indians. We're joined pregame by the head coach of Hamilton Southeastern, Adrian Render. And Adrian, last game of the season, obviously each one is more important than the last one you played. What are some of the things that you like about your club coming in, and what are some of the things that have surprised you as the season has gone along?
First off, I say thanks for having me here. But the things that have surprised me about our club is that the every day we're just getting better and better and better. One day we'll struggle on the power play, and then all of a sudden it'll click, and the next day. So our special teams is starting to surprise us. The things that I really like about our club is our determination, set forth at the beginning of the year of being in this game, and then also the goal is to win this game. But our boys always come prepared, and they are going to battle all the way to the end. So that's what the biggest thing I love about our team.
You guys have played a very tough schedule. HSE is known across the state as playing one of the tougher schedules in the state. How has that prepared your squad for participation, not only in the state tournament, but in this game today?
Our schedule has prepared us. We have some guys on our schedule like New Trier and Kirkwood from St. Louis, and those games prepare us to see where our holes in our game are, because those teams are well-oiled machines. But those are the teams that we're, as HSC's program, we're chasing, and we're trying to be or be better than. So our schedule is designed to be pretty tough, so we know what we're up against, and to grow up some of our younger guys, or a young team, and then when we get to be an older team, we're seasoned.
Last weekend in the playdowns, you guys played a phenomenal defensive style. You held the combination of Penn, Lakeshore St. Joe, and Zionsville to just 4 goals in those 3 contests. How is your defense? And it's a young defensive core. You got 3 sophomores back there and 3 juniors, but they're playing well beyond their years. How have they matured so quickly this year? Because they look like they're all seniors.
Yeah, so those guys have matured just by putting in, like I said, the hard work, the dedication. They're biting into the system that we're putting in play. Coach Baker and Coach Miskovic and myself are putting in to them, and they're really paying attention to detail on the defensive end. So I feel that's where they're shining. And our goaltenders we have 2 goaltenders that are number 1. I know everyone's seen Kreider's in our net, but both of our goaltenders are giving our defensemen the confidence to, make plays or try to step up, and knowing that the goaltenders got their back.
You got a pair of 20 goal scorers up front in David Desplinter and Grant Compton. Seniors, their experience, they've been through battles like this. How has their leadership helped some of those guys that have come through the rankings, through Hamilton Southeastern B and now to Hamilton Southeastern A? How have they helped get your guys on the right track into this game?
Yeah, those guys are big guys. David Desplinter is a quiet guy. He shows his leadership by working, helping fine-tune our younger guys. And Grant is more of our boisterous leader. That is our pump-up guy and gets everyone riled up. But they're there to help the young guys learn, and they want to lead by example. So that's for their success. Is those 2 guys are the guys that they want the pressure moments, and they want to also try to help their young teammates out to show them, hey, this is how you handle those big pressure moments. And these 2 guys were with me 2 years ago in 2018, and they learned from a good group of guys to teach them how to be great leaders.
How is that kind of experience back? You mentioned 2018. How has that experience of playing in such a pressure situation helped some of those guys where they are now? Is that a motivating factor to get back and take another state title?
Absolutely. It's a big motivating thing for them to get another title. They got a taste of it as sophomores. And so, they always wanted to drive back. And we have one thing that we always want to try to be better than, the past HSE teams. We have a long history of guys that have won 2 state titles. So that's pushing those guys that they want to join that club of 2 guys to hold 2 titles to their names. Their 4 years at our program. But it helps them it's helping them with the nerves and the jitters and the hype that's around this game, because they know that they're going to have to try to stay calm and keep the younger guys calm. They know that St. Joe's a great hockey club and that they're going to have to try to keep the little guys, their emotions in check.
Special teams plays a huge factor in a game like this. Just talk about how winning the special teams battle is going to be key today.
I mean, it's the both teams. I mean, St. Joe's got a great power play, so our PK's just got to be better. Anytime in a hockey game, especially in high situations like this, you just got to capitalize when you are on your special teams, on the power play, on the penalty kill. Those are opportunities right there that can make you win the game, or they can make you lose the game. So that's a high focus, is try to stay out of the box and play 5-on-5. And also, if we get an opportunity to go 5-on-4, we got to take advantage of it, because the St. Joe team's a very respected team and they're very good. And, that's just maybe give us a little bit of an edge at that moment to maybe take the lead.
When you look across the ice to see St. Joe, what kind of problems can they cause a squad like yours? And what are some of the keys to come out of here with the 2020 Class 4A state championship?
The problems are, I think, that we're two teams kind of designed the same, keep plugging away and never give up. So that's a little bit concerning, especially dealing with some of our younger players. And, like you just said, we have a young defensive core. So, guys keep coming at them and, they get down a little bit. St. Joe's just going to keep piling it on. Like I said, they're just a good hockey club that, we respect, and we're just getting ready for this big battle, because it's probably going to be one of the best battles on Saturday.
All right, Adrian, best of luck to you and HSE.
All right, thank you very much.
We'll be back with more right here on the Regional Radio Sports Network. I want to thank Coach Adrian Render for his time before the game. Just a reminder, the Beef O'Brady's in Granger now features Wing Wednesdays. Enjoy their award-winning traditional wings for just 79 cents each. They also have team trivia every Wednesday starting at 7 p.m. with prizes awarded, located at State Road 23 and Bittersweet Road. Beef's is open for lunch at 11 a.m. 7 days a week. For more information, the website's www.beefobrady's.com, or you can call 574-271-1415. Beef O'Brady's, good food, good sports. Beef's also home to the Coach's Box every Thursday night. You can hear that live at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on 91.1 FM WGCS. The Globe. J.P. Gilbert, Nick Duranick, Dante Stanton at center ice here at the Midwest Training and Ice Center, Hamilton Southeastern. Their players have arrived at the rink entrance. They will be sporting the black jerseys with the red, white, and blue trim, and they will be going from left to right in the opening period. St. Joe will be decked out in the home white jerseys, trimmed in that ever-popular Columbia blue, black, and white. And Nick, we made mention of the two goaltenders, but in a situation like this, special teams is going to be vitally important. We saw last week in the St. Joe game against Penn. St. Joe had a chance to win the game in overtime, and it nearly cost them. They had multiple chances to shoot the puck. They didn't, and it gave Penn a chance to be in this game. Luckily for them, they had Kyle Tupper in net to save the day. They went down and got a really timely goal from Carson Meisberg. But special teams going to be huge in this game between two very evenly matched squads.
Yeah, they came up very well up in that game, and they gave Kyle the chance to make some big saves in front of the net. And at the same time, when you can get a special teams in overtime that can kill off a penalty like that, it's going to be big for you. And at the same time, you and I were talking during that game was, it's going to come down to who can kill off that penalty. If Penn could kill that penalty off, it would give them a momentum. But we saw 15 seconds later, it was done. The game was done, and St. Joe took it home just to get here tonight.
We're going to have some pregame festivities as well as the starting lineup and the anthem for tonight's 4A championship game between South Bend St. Joe and Hamilton Southeastern.
Two of them would listen to the games on the radio while they worked the fields. She was the oldest sibling. In the late 1970s, in Bloomington, Indiana, she met her husband, David, who was a youth hockey coach. From then on, hockey was in her blood. Suzanne son Brad started playing, she was involved with every team he played with through high school. Suzanne served as the team scheduler, helped during fundraisers and team functions. Wherever there was a need, she was willing to fill it. After her husband passed away in 1990, she became even more involved in youth hockey. She spent 3 years on the board of IYHA in Carmel and was commissioner another year. When Brad was picked up to play for the South Stars, Suzanne assumed the role of team scheduler for that year as well. For more than a decade, Suzanne served on the HSHA board as the awards director. In this capacity, she developed the methodology used today to comb through the many scholarship applications to select the ultimate award winner. Successfully doubled the scholarship money awarded to each recipient, implemented the Hobie Baker Award Program to honor a high school player from each competing team in the state tournament, and ensured that every high school senior who attained a 3.0 grade point average over the player's career was recognized at a state tournament game. It is with tremendous gratitude and thanks that the Indiana State High School Hockey Association recognizes Suzanne Goldberg with the introduction into the State Hockey Hall of Fame.
Our officials for tonight's contest are linesmen Cade Blessing, Ken Tomazawa. The referees for today's contest are Chris Chappelle and Jacob Kohlmeyer. Ladies and gentlemen, we all ask that you all please remain standing at this time. Gentlemen, remove your hats as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Oh, so can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free?
Welcome back to the Regional Radio Sports Network's coverage of the 2020 Indiana State High School Hockey Championships. The Hamilton Southeastern A team getting set to take on the St. Joseph Indians in the 4A title game, joined by assistant coach Nick Cleva in the pregame show. Nick, great effort that your kids showed in the playdowns last week. What did you learn about your team in the 2 games prior to that epic Penn showdown?
Well, playing Adams that first game after that heartbreaking loss in overtime in the city final, we were just ready to get back on the ice after taking a week off. And we wanted revenge, so coming out hot. I think scoring a goal pretty early in the game set the tone, and then it was just a battle all the way through that game, and it was nice to get that revenge. Stuck to the game plan, and that kind of carried over to Saturday's game against Zionsville. Again, very good Zionsville team. We came out strong. Our power play was clicking that game, and then fortunate enough to get that victory and headed on to Sunday against Penn.
In that Penn game, you guys found yourselves down 2-0. But the one thing that I noticed in doing that game, there was no panic. The kids didn't panic. You guys as a coaching staff didn't panic. You guys ended up tying up that game. You sent it into overtime. Tupper makes an unbelievable save on a breakaway, and you guys go right back down and score. Carson Meisberg with a beautiful tip. B.J. Eckrich with a once-in-a-lifetime pass, and you guys find yourselves here in Illiana. When that game was going on, going back and forth, talk about how that there was no panic and that you guys knew that there was just so much time and so much hockey left to be played, even though you guys found yourselves down in that early hole.
Yeah, playing a rival like Penn's never easy, especially for the fifth time in the year. So we knew their game, they knew our game. There was no panic, and I think that kind of stemmed from the coaches. We stayed calm, which then feeds on to the players. One thing that we kept saying on the bench during that game was Penn's tired. They came back. They played the extra game Saturday night. They just looked tired. So we knew that we're not. Sometimes we don't start out the best. We didn't panic at all. And like you said, we were down a couple goals, got a couple power play goals, tied the game, went into the third period up by a goal. They tied it. And then we go into overtime, and then the roller coaster of emotions just is draining. But like you said, BJ made a nice move, found Carson in front of the net for the tip. Great play, and it was nice to see that go our way, and we're happy to be here.
You can't get here without solid goaltending, and both Yergler and Tupper have been absolutely outstanding. But Kyle, especially in that game against Penn, his confidence never wavered when you guys were down early. But that big save that he made on the breakaway to give you guys even more confidence. Just talk about how his play throughout the entire play down really gave you guys an opportunity to be here.
Yeah, we're confident in both of our goalies, like we've talked about before, either with Tupp or Yergler. When the goalie makes a save like that, or a couple saves back to back, it just gives your team more and more confidence. So that save in overtime on the breakaway, it kind of just turned the tables. They got their chance, and now we're waiting for ours. It's going to come. Stay calm. But I don't think we would ever got that if Tupper wasn't confident. I mean, he made a great save, and it obviously led us through the weekend. Last weekend, it's going to help us again today.
You and your dad have been through many of these games before as players and as coaches. What about your experience in the state championship games can the two of you especially bring to this team? It's still a relatively young team, but what can you guys instill on your players to make sure there are no nerves, they keep calm and they keep focused on the task at hand?
Yeah, playing a game like this, we'll get the butterflies going early, if not, earlier in the week. Just knowing you're playing this game, a lot at stake, it's fun. But, when it comes down to game time, you just you're out there, the crowd's into it, it's loud, you know what's at stake. But, we just have to stay calm. It starts from the coaches. The coaches kind of feed the team. If we get out of hand or get nervous, the players sense it and they get nervous. So I feel like the coaches have to stay calm, and that feeds off from the players. I think our senior class now was fortunate enough to play in the 2017 title game back at the Icebox, so they kind of know what that feeling's like. But just got to stay calm, enjoy the moment, and regardless of the outcome of this game, you accomplished something special. So there's nothing to be ashamed of. But again, it's just calming the nerves and sticking to the task at hand.
In a game like this, special teams always a key, whether it's a big penalty kill or a big power play goal. How important is it going to be against a very good HSE team, a team that can take some penalties at times, but how important is it to get ahead in the special teams battle against such a talented team?
Yeah, when we're looking at this game, we determined both teams were disciplined. Like, I don't think there's going to be very many penalties. but you never know how the game goes. So regardless, we'll have to be ready on the PK and the PP. I think our power play has been clicking the last couple weeks, especially in that Zionsville game. We got, I think, 2 or 3 big power play goals. So I think we just stick to our plan, and then on the PK on the flip side, we just got to be disciplined. Hopefully we won't take too many penalties, so we won't be burning extra energy killing. But if that happens, we'll be ready. And like you said, we just got to stay disciplined and be ready for anything they throw at us.
I want to thank both Adrian Render of Hamilton Southeastern A and Nick Cleva from South Bend St. Joe for giving us just a few minutes of their time before this massive matchup. Starting goaltending matchup in tonight's game for the St. Joseph Indians. They're going to go with Kyle Tupper, the senior, 11-11-2 on the season, 2.37 goals against average, a .927 save percentage, and a spectacular 7 shutouts in goal for Chris Cleva's squad. And in the goal to our left is going to be sophomore Ethan Kreider. Kreider's going to come in 11-10-1 on the season. He has a 3.71 goals against average, 8.64 save percentage, and 2 shutouts on the season. The top line for the Indians are going to start us off. It'll be B.J. Eckridge centering Tenny Husinski and Carson Meisberg. Luke Herendine as well as Mishu Jaskowitz for the Indians. And we're underway here at the Midwest Training and Ice Center. Sit back, relax, and enjoy some 4A hockey as St. Joe takes on Hamilton Southeastern. As Jaskowitz will have that puck deflect off his glove and back to B.J. Eckridge in the neutral zone. Eckridge hounded by Carter. He's going to send it the length of the ice. No icing is the call. Ken Tomazawa waving it off immediately. And the Indians will have first crack in the offensive zone. Now Carter for HSE. Lost the handle of it, and Tupper sweeps it away. That could have been a dangerous play in the early goings, just 38 seconds into the contest. A little bit of nerves shown by both teams. As firing the puck in will be Ty DeSplinter right on to Kyle Tupper, and that's a good shot by DeSplinter. Make sure he's awake back there. You never know what's going to happen.
It's always good to dump the puck onto net, because if you get that nice rebound while guys are coming at you, you can get that nice rebound and shovel it into the back of the net.
Now there's going to be a penalty on the play. It'll be a bench minor for too many men on the ice. So Hamilton Southeastern's going to jump on the power play early. Special teams battle so important. Hamilton Southeastern clicking at 18.8%, 31 for 165 on the year. South Bend St. Joe almost 82% on the penalty kill, 108 for 132. HSE will win the draw. As going back is going to be Aiden Miller. He'll go behind the net. Miller with a nice cross-size pass, and now here comes Kincannon over the blue line. He'll set it up down in the near corner. Kincannon going behind the net. He'll go far side to Grant Compton. Compton lets one fire, stick saved by Tupper. Compton thought about banking it off of Tupper. Instead, he's going to pick up the puck at the near corner. Compton to the half boards here on the near side. Lets one fly, and it's too high and knocked away. As sending it the length of the ice was going to be Kuba Jaskowitz. Nice block by Jack Ploman. And the forwards will get a quick change. Jaskowitz going to launch it the rest of the way. And that'll force Kreider to come out of the net and play the puck.
Indians doing a great job of shutting down the shooting lanes on special teams so far. And a couple great saves there by Tupper to keep this one going with just under a minute to go in the PK.
As Jaskowitz going to get it again. B.J. Eckridge, who has just been on fire both in the city and in the state playdowns, is going to give way to Carson Meisberg. As back comes HSE. Max Severs. He'll stick handle to the near dot. He'll go behind the net with 35 to go. As he'll go down, and then they'll shoot at the length of the ice. So a fantastic kill here in the early going for South Bend St. Joseph. DeSplinter, he'll try to go up the ice. The pass is too far. And now Luke Herendine going to send it the length. As B.J. Eckridge is going to pick up the puck, lost the handle. And then he gets knocked off the puck by Stewart. Now Jaskowitz just going to flip it out in the neutral zone. 5 seconds on the penalty, and that'll do it for the first penalty. To Splinter, not afraid to rip the shot from anywhere. Decides to make Tupper work once again. As Severs, a big hit on Jaskowitz here on the near side. Meisberg, he'll bring it behind the net. He's pulled down, no call on the play.
Very physical game so far between the big guys here on both sides, and we're seeing that so far. Good plays along the boards, make some good hits, and it's great to see some great defense so far.
We knew it was going to be a physical battle, but I don't think we were this ready this early for some of the physicality. As the two Jaskowitz brothers going to play catch behind the net. As Kuba's going to launch one in on Kreider, lost the handle of it, and that goes here in the near corner. Good forecheck by the Indians, as Stockrum's going to keep it for Brady Taylor. Now Plowman going one-on-one. He'll get it to Taylor. Taylor with a shot right on. Kreider makes the original save, and jumping right into the play is Jack Plowman, but Kreider will hold on.
Great job by Brady Taylor there on the far boards to keep hold of that puck, keep passing it around. Got another guy's coming in there. He was coming right back in towards the slot. Good pass, right on net. But great save there coming up by Kreider.
All sophomore line of Pete Stockrum, Jack Plowman, and Brady Taylor, making life miserable in the early goings. As Jake Kiley will send it in deep. And that will go the length of the ice for an icing. And the faceoff will come back into the HSE zone. No score, 10:42 to go here in the first period from a raucous Midwest Training and Ice Center. Already, go ahead.
As I say, you got to give a lot of credit. You got a lot of St. Joe fans here from center ice, even over towards our left blue line here, and then basically just the left two sections over here, all HSE, everything else St. Joe, and as always, great student representation here tonight by St. Joe.
We are in a sea of blue, if you will. Hamilton Southeastern 3 shots on that original power play. As we're back to 5-on-5 action. Kuba Jaskowitz going to send it back behind the net. Carson Meisberg, he'll dump it deep in the corner where B.J. Eckrich is going to force the play around the net. St. Joe starting to get their forecheck going. That's going to be a delayed offsides, and that one will be blown dead by Ken Tamazawa. Officiating crew, it's a Fort Wayne crew tonight. Chris Chappelle. And it's like Kohlmeyer is going to be the other one.
Yep, Kohlmeyer's the other one.
Ken Tamazawa and Cade Blessing, the two linesmen. Nice to see Coley get rewarded. He did a really great job in the South Bend playdowns. As DeSplinter gets the puck taken off his stick. That's David DeSplinter. And now here come the Indians 2v2. Eckrich going to get the puck in the zone. And Miller, first one on it. But Eckrich going to beat him to the puck. He'll get it down low to Hosinski. Hosinski fires it back into the neutral zone. No one home. So the two Jaskowitzes once again play catch. It'll be interesting to see how much ice time the two of them get as Hosinski cuts in, and a nice blocker save by Kreider. And that'll go into the mesh netting behind him. And the face-off will be to the right of goaltender Kreider.
We've seen things transition here in the past few minutes where HSE was putting all the pressure on early on in the period, including when they had the chance on a 2-minute power play. Now we've gone the other way. St. Joe putting a lot of pressure on Kreider and the rest of HSE, and they're putting some shots on net.
This will be the first non-Illiana team to win a state title today. Lake Central White won Class A, Bishop Knoll Class AA, and Class 3A was just won by Crown Point 6-2 over Brebeuf Jesuit out of Indianapolis. There's Charlie Eckrich with a good forecheck. And now this third line for the Indians. Eckrich going to go around the net. And the net comes off the moorings. We have seen a lot of that in the 3 games that we have either broadcasted or watched, that the nets come off extremely easy. We saw a lot of that in South Bend a week ago, where the nets just would not stay put.
I think a few of the games I had was with South Stars, and their goalie kept nudging the thing off in there. Remember referee John Eason one game giving him a warning, and so did Bobby Jordan. Still did it 3 more times, didn't get anything called against them, but when you can get, it's not legal, but not something you should really want to do.
As the Indians back again on the forecheck, Luke Herendeen's going to bring it down deep to the near side corner. He'll hand it off to Eckridge. Eckridge going to fire it in front, nobody home, and back comes Hamilton Southeastern. Cam Theobald over the blue line. He's going to cut in, throw a backhand on Tupper, and that puck is whisked away. Now Logan Kincannon will fire it down low. Sean Kiley gets knocked off the puck by Theobald. And the Indians now back on the defensive. Theobald throws it in front. Puck is knocked loose, and back will come Jake Kiley. Kiley up ahead to Eckridge. He goes one-on-one. He gets ridden off the play with a big hit, no call. Momentum might have gone up a little higher, but in any event, it's no call.
That was one of those calls that was one of those shots that was a little kind of borderline there. Kept the elbow down, though, in the chest, and it was a clean hit.
Stockram will send it back around the net. Kreider will set it down for Keaton Demlow. Demlow will get it back up as Eric Bacco, is this line for HSE, tries to get something started, and Kreider's going to have to hold on for dear life again. 7:40 to go here in the first period. Indians with a great forecheck here in the early going, keeping HSE at bay. And the score is still tied at 0.
Making Kreider work, making sure he's getting his glove on, putting that down to stop the play rather than keep it going. Keep that pressure up for St. Joe, and they'll eventually break through.
Us goalies are appreciative of that when you get those gloves down quick. As Stockram, he is harassing Ty DeSplinter. A nice move by the junior. He'll move the puck up the ice. Now to David DeSplinter. DeSplinter's shot, it's blocked. And now Hayden Hebert moves right out of the way. No call. Wasn't even warranted of a call.
That was Dane Baker going in for that hit, and we got that quick stop there, and Baker kind of dove, and he went right to the boards, not able to get anything out of that.
Intensity and the hitting just picking right up, as the Indians having a hard time getting the puck out of the zone now. So back will be Jaskowitz. Kuba wants to be real careful about trying anything fancy against HSE. You never know when one individual stick move could end up going in the back of your own net. There's Brody Taylor. He'll let one fly right into the glove of Kreider, and Kreider will hold on.
Just to back off that, HSE, a lot of history on the ice, very strong team, historically strong team. So when they start pressuring you up, they're going to start making the big plays, and that's something that you don't want to do. So good job by Kuba to make sure he's making the right decision.
6-time state champion, our HSEA. Looking to add trophy number 7. And we all know about the history of South Bend St. Joe. 31 years and counting. 1989, the last time a state championship was brought to South Bend St. Joe.
I was only a year old at that year.
I was actually at that game. They took out New Haven 6-2 that night. A little bit different opponent here in HSE. More physical and a better puck-moving team than that New Haven team was back then. As Stewart's going to blindly dump it into the zone, and now Meisberg will get the puck over to Herendeen on the far side. Now B.J. Eckridge. He'll just easily dump it in, takes a deflection. And Peters, nice job by Hosinski to just cause some havoc. And now Eckridge going to throw it right at the net, and Meisberg. Almost a similar play to the overtime goal that knocked out Penn last weekend.
Meisberg set himself up right in front of Kreider there. Had a great opportunity, but Kreider was right on top of him, too, to make sure he whisked that one away.
As Meisberg, he'll one-touch it to Eckridge, goes right back to Meisberg, and the sophomore overskates it. Meisberg makes one man miss. Will make another man miss. He's going to get held, and that's going to be a penalty. And South Bend St. Joe is going to go to the power play. Logan Kincannon going to the box for holding. Oh, he's going to call it a hooking. He had the arm around him, not the stick, but Scraps had a better angle than we did up here, so I'll take his word for it. But Kincannon will go to the box. It'll be a minor for hooking.
Either way, it was an arm or a blade that
Arm,
was
a stick.
getting around that jersey there. Pulled him down.
So Kincannon into the box at 10:03, and the St. Joe penalty or power play is going to be on the ice. The shot by Eckrich is going to be blocked, and that'll go the length of the ice. For the season, South Bend St. Joe 20 of 175 for 11.4%. Hamilton Southeastern's penalty kill 138 for 170, 81.2%. And it'll be an offsides called on Hamilton Southeastern. Kate Blessing, the linesman, making the call. 4:26 to go in the first period. 0-0 is our score. 1:29 to go in the hooking minor to Kincannon.
Looked like Grant Compton was trying to turn a little bit too quick there to try and put some pressure here on down one man, but his center was just over the line. That went for an offsides.
So back behind the net is Kuba Jaskowitz. And Jaskowitz will slowly bring the puck through the neutral zone. Can almost time his strides with a sundial. That's how slow the play was to develop. And launching it the length of the ice was Keaton Demlow. As beating everybody to the puck is David DeSplinter, and he'll rack some time behind the net. Under a minute to go in the power play. Now Ty DeSplinter. He has played extremely well here in the early goings as Jaskowitz with a massive hit to knock him right off the puck. Now one Jaskowitz gets it to Eckrich. No call. The play is going to go on. As now Eckrich thought about dumping it down low. Instead, he's going to bring the puck up the ice. 34 in the power play. BJ crosses the blue line. He's going to leave it for Meisberg. Meisberg with a shot and a nice save with the stick by Kreider. Puck's going to get dumped out. Nice job on the near side by Kuba Jaskowitz. Now Meisberg goes back up top to Kuba. 13 on the power play as a shot on to Kreider will get blocked away, and we're going to have a high stick. The faceoff will come down the way down to the other end. Mishu Jaskowitz knocked that one right out of the air.
Had a good shot there with Calvin Kerwin there on the right side of the net, trying to set himself up to nudge something into the back of the net. Just goes past him and then off the high stick. And we're going to come all the way down with 7 seconds left to go on the power play.
3:05 remaining in the opening stanza. 2 shots on the power play for St. Joe, and HSE is going to be back to full strength. As now Sheena going back, and a nice job by Stockram to take a hit to make a play. We've seen Pete Stockram do this plenty of times in his first 2 years here at St. Joe. He just forechecks everybody into submission. As now Brody Taylor on a nice back check, and very nice play by Tupper to just knock the puck away. Now Ploman, he'll have it behind the net, throws it on the backhand, it's picked off, and HSE now trying to get their forecheck going. Now Stockram pick off a pass, and he'll just dump it calmly into the HSE end. Aiden Miller getting harassed by Ploman. Nice job by the sophomore, and sending it the length of the ice is going to be Miller. And that'll go for an icing. The faceoff will come all the way back down to the HSE end to the right of Ethan Kreider. Just a tick over 2 minutes to go here in the opening period. Glad you could join us on your Saturday night or afternoon, wherever you may be. As the Indians and HSE battling it out for the 4A state title. It's going to be another icing on the far side. As sending it the length was Max Sievers. Coach Chris Kleva found out this is his 12th state championship appearance. Thanks to his son Nick for that little tidbit of information. as Sievers brings it over the blue line. It'll be offsides, HSE. St. Joe, in their illustrious history, is the only program in the state of Indiana to have a state runner-up finish in Class 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the state of Indiana. They're hoping that they can reverse that trend today, obviously, against a really good HSE squad. As now the Hamilton Southeastern forecheck gets working. DeSplinter with a shot that was blocked away by Tupper. And sending it out to the neutral zone was Meisberg. Minute 15 to go. It's Carter here on the near side, makes one man miss. He's going to fire it on. Tupper with a nice stick save, but the rebound comes popping right out. Sievers, he'll send it back down to Carter. Now the puck will go back behind the net. Colin Stewart, he'll fire it out to DeSplinter. It's tipped in front, and it's tipped just wide. Now Sam Carter, he'll shoot it down low. Puck goes right up the gut, and DeSplinter with a shot on, but it's sticked out of play by Tupper. He hasn't been brilliant, but he's been very, very active when called upon as he's moving the puck all over the place.
When you look at the past 6 or 7 minutes, he hasn't really had much opportunity to do anything in front of the net because the play's been to our left rather than to our right. So this is the first time we're seeing some more pressure by HSE in quite some time here in this first period.
As Concannon's shot goes over. Now ripping one just wide. On the far side was DeSplinter. Puck can't come out of the zone. David DeSplinter goes from backhand to forehands, deflected in front to no avail. Less than 20 seconds to go. Mishu Jaskowitz over the blue line. He's going to get tripped, no call. Now calmly bringing it up is DeSplinter. He goes far side to Compton. He'll shoot it in on top. And the junior netminder will knock it away, and that's going to do it. A fast and furious first period of play comes to a scoreless conclusion here on the Regional Radio Sports Network. Just a reminder, Beef O'Brady's in Granger now features Fajita Thursdays. You can try seasoned chicken, Angus skirt steak, or grilled shrimp for just $9.99. Located at State Road 23 and Bittersweet Road, Beef's is open for lunch at 11 a.m. 7 days a week. For more information, their website's www.beefobrady's.com. You can call 574-271-1415. Beef O'Brady's, good food, good sports. We also like to thank some of our secondary sponsors. Adams Road Development, creator of Michiana's finest communities, city close, country quiet. You can enjoy the stately splendor of Bradford Shores at Knollwood or Glen Eyre at Knollwood, an extraordinary retreat from everything.
We talk about a good first period there, JP. You know, obviously neither team converting into the net, but at the same time we saw lots of great pressure, lots of speed going both ways, and great saves by both Kreider and by Tupper. Now we're going to see which team is really going to start to change things up a little bit. I thought St. Joe at times is getting a little too impatient with moving the puck up the ice, and that cost them at times to set a play up. As you were mentioning earlier in the first period, these guys from HSE, very quick. They like to put their sticks out and try to make a play themselves, and they've been able to do that at times. So I think that kind of took away some momentum from St. Joe. But when we look at the shot total, St. Joe has more than HSE for that first period. So we'll see if they can at least calm it down just a little bit and convert here in the second period.
That sophomore line of Stockram, Pullman, and Taylor starting the second period for the Indians. As on the far side, DeSplinter, he'll have the puck taken away from him by Kuba Jaskowitz. And now Taylor, he'll just waft it into the HSE end, and that'll go for an icing. The faceoff will come all the way back down to the St. Joseph end. The 5A state championship will follow this contest. Culver's varsity A team taking on the Carmel Gold Ice Hounds. It'll be an 8 o'clock Central Time face-off. Should be a great contest between two of the state's finest powerhouses. As Stockrum's going to get run off the puck by Ty DeSplinter, and the puck will go back behind the net. Now David DeSplinter is going to launch one, and it's picked off nicely by Kuba Jaskowitz. Kuba will go back behind the net. He's going to have it steam. He'll get by one, and he'll end up losing the puck here on the near side. Dieter gets it taken off the stick by Taylor, and Stockrum will give chase on the far side, and goes out of the zone. And Mishu tried to put that one through the ceiling here at the Midwest Training and Ice Center, to no avail. Faceoff will stay in the neutral zone. $13:53 to go in the period. 0-0 our score. The winner will be the Class 4A state champion. Sean Kiley here on the near side will get it into the HSE end as both teams now start to play catch with the puck a little bit. Calvin Kerwin, he's got some space, going to let one fly. Nice left pad save by Kreider. Now Herendeen on the near side. He'll keep it in to Jake Kiley. Now Kerwin once again, nice shot. It's blocked in front, and Kerwin will bring the puck behind the net. Calvin looking for someone to pass to. He'll throw it right in front of the net. Not a bad idea at this point in time. Sean Kiley goes cross ice with the puck, and now Kerwin again with the puck. A big hit on that far side as he got run into by Liam Peters. Delayed offsides for HSE. That's now Jake Kiley. He's going to find the red. He'll dump it in. And a wholesale line change for the Columbia Blue and White. Now Sievers is going to carry it over the red line. He'll cross the blue. Nice dish, almost finding Carter. That would have been a whale of a pass had that thing connected. But St. Joe will retain possession. 2-on-1 opportunity as Hosinski cuts in. Puts it on the backhand, and a nice save by Kreider. Best scoring opportunity for the Indians so far. As Hosinski throws it in front. B.J. Eckrich with a shot, and that goes wide. As the Indians now start to buzz with this top line of Hosinski, Eckrich, and Meisberg. It's now Hosinski. He'll throw it right to the front. B.J. Eckrich will send it back down to the corner. And look out right in front of us. This is why we say at sporting events, keep your head up. Flying objects will be coming right at you.
Great pressure in this last run here by St. Joe. You saw Hosinski have a great opportunity on the near side of the net. Looked like he was trying to backhand it, went off the curvature of the stick and went wide. Eckrich didn't get there in time to try for a little bit of an assist. He tried to shoot it back in, and then Hosinski couldn't handle it, but three great shots put up as St. Joe still gets the face-off in their attacking zone.
As Eckrich will win the face-off, loses his footing. And now back comes HSE. And it'll be an icing call as Logan Kincannon sends it the length of the way. Hearth and Home is your local source for all your fireplace and veneer stone needs. We've got what's hot in business since 1977. Family owned and operated, offer sales, service, and installation of everything we sell. There's 2 locations in South Bend and Portage, Michigan, and they'll handle retail and contractor sales. Hearth and Home says, go Luke Herendeen, 3rd generation St. Joe graduate. As Hebert is going to fire the puck on net. Not a bad idea with traffic going in front of Kreider. That's the one thing St. Joe has not done yet, is get shots in traffic. As Hebert's going to get knocked off the puck on the far side. As now Sheena. He'll let one fly just wide of the junior puck stopper. Puck's going to get thrown out in front. No real scare there as Kincannon had a chance to deflect that one in. Now Kincannon with a nice job to keep the puck in the zone. Now Jaskowitz, he'll just dump it out in the neutral zone. And Sheena lets one fly. That should have been intentional offsides.
I was waiting for that call. It should go all the way down.
And the St. Joe faithful agrees with us. And we'll see.
Ken Tomazawa making that bit of a delayed offsides call. They're going to keep it on the far dot here on the left blue line.
Well, we have a number of St. Joe fans right in front of us.
The only way I could see that it not going all the way down was the shot came in, deflected off a St. Joe defender.
That would be the only reason.
Yeah.
If that's a straight shot, it goes all the way down. As Herendeen, he'll gain the red, he'll dump it in, no icing on the play. Demlo's going to get it behind the net, and he'll whip it up the right side to Baker. Jaskowitz going to float one in. Now Baker for HSE. Can't clear the zone. Now a chance for HSE. Nice job by Stockram to just simply lift the stick. Now Tupper back to play the puck. He'll send it whence it came. And now Luke Herendeen going to bring the puck through the neutral zone. Herendeen 2-on-4. Makes one little stick move. And gets knocked off the puck very nicely by Keaton Demlo. Very impressed with the way Demlo has played here in the first half of this game. As Baco's going to let one fly. Tupper with a nice pad save. And that puck will go to the far side as Jaskowitz gets roughed up a little down low. Baco for HSE gets popped off the puck by Luke Herendeen. Now Mishu simply gets to Charlie Eckridge, and a lot of nervousness with the parents right in front of us as Plowman makes a move around one man, and Brody Taylor with a nice shot attempt as it's saved by Kreider. Plowman quickly gets off the ice. The only penalty that St. Joe has taken was too many men on the ice. They almost got guilty of a second infraction.
Taylor with a great opportunity there in front of the net after Plowman just kind of pushed it in front. Kept it off, didn't get enough elevations. We're going to get a penalty in front of the net now, going against HSE.
It'll be an interference call as Chris Chappelle, the trailing referee, they're going to call a cross-check on the play. You could have called that cross-check, interference, what have you. But in any event, St. Joe's going to go back on the power play.
We go back to their first power play. They put lots of great pressure there on Kreider. I believe they had 3 shots, if I remember correctly, on that one. 3 great shots to get that in. Let's see if they can convert on this second power play.
So Demlo is going to go for cross-checking at 6:01. And the St. Joe power play, which, as Nick mentioned, 3 shots on that first infraction, trying to get the game's first score.
Got to get a new puck. Is right off the face-off. It went in.
Where's Rich Hutchinson when we need him to just kind of toss the officials a puck? Our co-worker, Rich Hutchinson. So glad that we got a chance to watch his final game as an official. He did the 3A state title game between Crown Point and Brebeuf. As Kerwin saw one go right off his stick, and Herendeen will keep it in. Herendeen to Jaskowitz at the left point, shot right on, and Kreider makes the easy save. And now Kerwin and Kreider trading a couple of barbs back and forth.
You know, maybe that's something that's needed here in this game that really hasn't gone in either direction. A couple of words here and there, friendly exchange of conversation.
As the
nobody from HSE took too light to it, though.
As the student section on our far right is just going ballistic. As chipping the puck out of the zone is going to be to Splinter. Herendeen, the only man that can catch him. And a nice shot right on, and Tupper, he's going to stop that 100 times out of 100.
I was trying to figure out what Cooper was doing there at the far boards. He was just kind of standing there. He kept his skate against the boards, but then as soon as the puck got through his legs, he didn't move. And that almost converted into an HSE goal the other way.
1:25 to go in the power play. 8 minutes and change left to go in a briskly moving second period. Eckridge gets rubbed off the puck, and it'll be launched the rest of the way. Tupper is going to wander out of his crease. Nice job by the junior netminder to leave it off for Luke Herendeen. Herendeen will cross the red. He'll dump it in right behind goaltender Ethan Kreider. Meisberg. He'll go to the point to Jaskowitz. Jaskowitz going to let one fly. Kerwin with a nice tip, and Kreider makes the stick save. Kerwin now at the near boards. He'll go around the net to Meisberg. 40 on the power play for the Indians to work with. Meisberg back up top to Jaskowitz. Lets one fly. It's blocked in front. And Eckrich, he'll corral the loose change. Herendeen at the right point goes back down low the half boards to Eckrich. Eckrich will wrap it around the net, and that'll go to Jaskowitz on the far side. Jaskowitz with a turn, going to let one fly. It's blocked in front, and Meisberg lost the handle of it, and that'll be sent the rest of the way by David DeSplinter. 10 seconds on an eventful power play for the Indians. And they've got time for maybe one last rush, but that will be thwarted, and an icing call will be made with 6:54 to go in the second period. Good opportunities for the Indians. Couple shots on that power play. They're starting to get more traffic in front of Ethan Kreider, which I think is leading to more and more scoring opportunities.
Yeah, I was about to mention, fantastic job by the HSE special teams for keeping some of their own guys out in front there to try and break anything up, and they did a great job of that, although, as you just mentioned, several outstanding opportunities for St. Joe just could not convert.
Officially 3 shots on that power play, and HSE trying anything and everything they can to get some offensive flow going, but it just seems like every time that an HSE player has the puck, 2 or 3 Indians are always in the vicinity. He's now settling it down to Sievers. He'll go back to Peters on the far point. Jaskowitz just didn't get enough of that one to flip it high on the backhand. And now Kuba is going to start to move. Now Mishu going to let one fly. Glove save by Kreider. The puck is loose. And going back to get it will be Mishu Jaskowitz. Mishu, good hold on the far side. Once, twice, 3 times. He'll keep it. And the puck finally ends up in the neutral zone. Taylor on the forecheck, as now Kuba with a shot right through the glove of Kreider and over the net. St. Joe just continuing to apply the pressure. Shot on is going to go wide by Jake Kiley. Now Kerwin firing it behind the net. Jake Kiley will pick it up. Kiley and Peters going at it behind the net. Finally, Stewart from Hamilton Southeastern. He'll make the turn. Stewart's going to launch one high in the air. That'll go for an icing. Colin Stewart trying to go cross ice. The ideal was right.
Yeah.
Just too far in front of his intended target. And the faceoff goes all the way back to the HSE end.
Getting a little anxious, starting to move a little bit quicker, and just puts too much on that saucer pass trying to get it in. And it goes all the way down.
Charlie Eckrich will fire it behind. And now Kincannon going to settle it down, let the play develop. Kincannon trying to get it out of the zone. Instead, Kiley is there to pick it up. As now HSE starting to break. Here comes Grant Compton, one-on-one, fires it, and a nice stick save by Kyle Tupper. Now Jaskowitz, he'll go behind the net with it. 2 men quickly on him. Now Jake Kiley had a man open on the far side. Instead, stick handles through a couple. He'll just dump it in. Very nonchalantly, he'll go for a change. As Eckrich on the far side, now behind the net with a nice check. And now the puck just lofted into the neutral zone where Jaskowitz will hand it off to Kerwin. Kerwin winning the battle against Sheena. And an offsides call made on the far side by Cade Blessing.
Still liking the pressure here from St. Joe. I mean, you're looking at everything so far in this second period. Everything's been on this side of the ice rather than to our left. That's what you got to see from St. Joe tonight against a very formidable opponent in HSEA.
B.J. Eckrich easily wins that faceoff. He'll go back to Herendeen, and South Bend St. Joe has just played a perfect game. They just haven't been able to dent the armor of Ethan Kreider, who has been outstanding for HSE, and right there makes another save on B.J. Eckridge. But Kreider has been extremely good here in this game, and he's had to make a lot of saves when called upon.
He's been dealing with traffic on his side. 2 power plays going against him in that same amount of time as well. But when you got a solid wall in front of the net, that's going to keep the other team off the board.
Andy Grasso wins the faceoff for HSE. But now Meisberg with the puck for St. Joe in the far corner. Meisberg, nice dish to Eckridge. He's going to go right out in front. Herendeen now with it. Here on the right point, lets it fly. It's blocked by Baker. Now Meisberg on the far side. 3:45 to go in the second period. Meisberg tried to be a little too cute on that pass, and it's picked off, and back comes HSE 3-on-2. And a nice job by Mishu Jaskowitz to get away from not one but 2 defenders.
Fantastic job by Mishu just to keep with him as they were going, trying to back check there, and he kept with him the entire way, taking away that passing lane to get to the front of the net. So great defensively.
Icing is waved off as Jaskowitz rubs out his man. He'll get it up to Meisberg, just lost the handle of it, now tied to Splinter. He'll go over to his defensive partner, Keaton Demlow. The Splinter gets stripped of the puck by Eckridge to the backhand. Lost the handle of it, and a nice poke check by Kreider. As Hosinski gets it to Eckridge, now back to Hosinski. A nice job by this top Indians line. As now Eckridge with the puck behind the net. He's going to walk right out in front. Hosinski with a chance, can't put it home, and the net is off the pegs. And St. Joe is doing everything they can but putting the little black biscuit across the goal line.
You gotta wonder if Kreider got a little too worried right there, because when you see him cut to the left, the right side of the net came off, so he probably gave that little extra kick to try to get across the crease. Gotta wonder if that was an intentional kickoff of the pipes, but I'm gonna say no.
You know us goalies would never admit something like that. We wouldn't.
Well, you can now because you don't play it.
That's true. That is true. 2.5 to go in the second period as the puck will get wrapped around behind the net. Jaskowitz with a good keep in. And now back to get it is going to be Aiden Miller. Miller, he'll dish it off to Nick Reynolds. As now Hamilton Southeastern starting to get on the attack. As DeSplinter sends one in, a nice stick save by Tupper. David DeSplinter, 24 goals on the season for the senior. Has been a workhorse along with Compton in this HSE lineup for Adrian Render. Now Taylor chips it out of the zone. He'll get it to Stockram. Stockram over the blue line. He's going to protect the puck nicely. And now Taylor below the goal line. Taylor loses the handle of it. Hayden Hebert with a shot, and Kreider says, I will hang on to that and get a face-off in our own end.
Stockram was making a good attempt there on the far side of the net, but Grant Compton keeping his body in front, taking away anything that he could to make an advance towards the net or even get something out in front.
Face off to the right of Ethan Kreider. As now Hosinski going to flip one just wide of the glove side of Kreider. Another great scoring opportunity for the sophomore, for the freshman Teddy Hosinski. These young pups growing up right before our very eyes for South Bend St. Joe. As the puck will come right out of the zone. On the far side, Logan Kincannon will just calmly dump it in. And Luke Herendeen is going to calmly flip it back out. Meisberg in a foot race. He's got a chance. He's going to cut in on the backhand. And he's thwarted by Kreider and then quickly mugged. There'll be a penalty. And South Bend St. Joe is going to go right back to the power play.
What a fantastic opportunity Meisberg had there. Tried to go across, go backhand with it, and then Kreider was right there to deny him. But at the same time, coming right behind him was Sam Carter with the cross check, and that's going to put St. Joe back on the power play.
I've always told people the most dangerous time to take a penalty at the high school level in Indiana is less than 2 minutes to go, because not only do you get the power play to end the period, but you also get to start the power play on fresh ice.
Correct.
If St. Joe doesn't score here in the first minute of this power play, they're going to have a fresh sheet of ice to work with for that second half. 6 shots on the power play already for the Indians. As Jaskowitz at the left point. He'll go down low to Eckrich at the half wall. Eckrich goes down deep. Meisberg back to Eckrich cutting in. And the puck will stay in the zone. As Herendeen going to keep that in momentarily. And finally, HSE is able to just clear the zone. But that could have been disastrous for the team wearing the black, red, white, and blue unis. Now Herendeen loses the handle of it. And Hamilton Southeastern, a big hit by Jaskowitz on Baker. 16 seconds left in the second period. As Eckrich, he'll go over the blue line. Kerwin loses the puck. Now 7 seconds as Jaskowitz in the neutral zone. Jaskowitz sees the time. He's not going to shoot. He'll just hold on to it. And that'll do it for an exciting first 30 minutes here at Midwest Training and Ice Center. We're tied, but it hasn't been for lack of effort on either team.
Not at all. When you really look at it, we'll talk more about this in intermission. St. Joe's doing all the right things right now. If I had to put it into one sentence, I think St. Joe's doing all the right things right now. They're just not getting the opportunity because Kreider is doing such a great job in front of the net.
And Hamilton Southeastern playing a very, very cautious bend but don't break defense. This could be a game where 1 or 2 goals could decide the 2020 Class 4A state championship. Just a reminder, Beef O'Brady's in Granger now features Surf and Turf Fridays. You can enjoy a 6-ounce USDA choice cut sirloin steak with grilled or fried shrimp, plus fries and salad for just $12.99. Located at State Road 23 and Bittersweet Road, Beef's is open for lunch at 11 a.m., 7 days a week. For more information, the website's www.beefobradys.com, or you can always call them, 574-271-1415. Beef O'Brady's, good food, good sports. Beef O'Brady's also home to the Coach's Box every Thursday night. You can listen to that live 6 p.m. on WGCS The Globe 91.1 FM. We want to thank a couple of our other sponsors for giving us the opportunity to do what we love to do, and that's broadcast high school and college sports. We want to thank Hearth and Home, your local source for all your fireplace and veneer stone needs. We got what's hot, in business since 1977, family owned and operated. We offer sales and services and installation of everything we sell. There's 2 locations, South Bend and Portage, Michigan. We handle retailer and contractor sales. In Hearth and Home would also like to say, go Luke. Herendeen, 3rd generation of St. Joe graduate.
Should have asked them for one of those hot items for the cold rink.
That would have been great on a night like this. We also want to thank our good friends at Hearth and Home, as well as Adams Road Development. Adams Road Development is the creator of Michiana's finest communities, city close, country quiet. Enjoy the stately splendor of Bradford Shores at Knollwood and Glen Eyre at Knollwood, an extraordinary retreat from everything. J.P. Jobert along with Nick Duranick and Dante Stanton. 2020 Indiana State High School Hockey Championships. This is the 45th edition of the Indiana State High School Hockey Championships. Coming to you from the Midwest Training and Ice Center for the 2nd consecutive year. We were lucky enough to do the Class 2A state championship game last year between the Riley Wildcats and the Brebeuf Jesuit Braves. And we were extremely blessed and fortunate to be able to do 2 games this season. We were able to do the 2A game between Valparaiso and the Bishop Knoll Warriors. Congratulations to Coach Rich Sabilo, his staff, and the Bishop Knoll Warriors on a hard-fought 2-1 victory over the Valparaiso Vikings. We're doing the 4A game as well. We're going to try next year to extend our coverage to all 5 state championships next season. Maybe even get a couple of state playdown games as well, pending on the site. But we are so blessed and fortunate to be able to do what we do here at Regional Radio Sports Network, as well as all across the state of Indiana. Now, I'm going to take you let's go in the locker room for a second.
Yeah.
You're HSE. If you're Adrian Render, and what are you telling your kids? You know you have played as good defensively. And we all know Kreider has come to work.
Yeah.
What are you telling your kids in the locker room to kind of break this pressure from the St. Joseph forecheck? Because it just seems like every miscue, every time the puck is turned over, there's 1, 2, maybe even 3 St. Joe uniforms just ready to pounce.
I think right now you're telling them that they need to, one, settle down. I think they're trying to do way too much when they're in front of Kreider. I mean, they're putting their bodies out there. They're taking away shots. We've seen them, putting a bunch of traffic in front to try to block any shots away. But I figure you got to tell them to just settle down a little bit. They're doing what they need to do, but they're doing it, I guess you could call it the right intention, but it's not making for the right decision. You might try to think you're putting yourself in the middle of a play when you don't need to be there. And right now I think they got to start limiting those mistakes, or else St. Joe's going to get right through them and eventually put one on the board.
Now let's take you in the other locker room. You're Chris Kleva. You're talking to your kids. They've thrown everything but the kitchen sink at Kreider, who in my opinion is the most valuable player of this game. It's 8-0 if Kreider's not in goal.
Right.
And I'm not saying that Aiden Hagerty would not be stopping all these shots. But just the way that St. Joe has peppered Kreider from the opening faceoff to the end of the second period, it could be a lot uglier.
You got to keep. If I'm Chris Kleva, I'm telling you my players to keep that pressure up, because right now I think you put it that they haven't necessarily put a dent in that. And let me correct you there. I think they put the dent in there. They're just not breaking through with that armor that Kreider has right now. They keeping this pressure up. They're keeping HSE on their toes, so that HSE is making those mistakes right now. The only thing that has stopped, as you just mentioned, is Ethan Kreider in front of the net. They're getting out of place, and that's opening up some of the shooting lanes for St. Joe, and they're not putting enough pressure on in front of the net. You've seen them in those one-on-one battles right in the slot, but they're not winning them right now. St. Joe is winning all those battles that they need to on the ice right now, except for getting past the last line of defense and Ethan Kreider. I say keep up that pressure, and eventually you're going to break through.
We've had a couple of listeners out there that have sent in some questions. We have one question that, why is taking a penalty under 2 minutes so dangerous only in Indiana, and why not in other states? That's an interesting question. But in this situation where you take a penalty in under 2 minutes, especially in the second and the third period, you know you're going to go out there on a clean sheet of ice, and that puck is going to go smoother. You'll see it a lot in the college games as well. But in a game of this magnitude, you don't want to take a penalty in a scoreless contest this late in the contest. We have another question that just came in. What is the difference between classes 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, and 5A? And the answer to that question is, unlike in other sports across the state where the schools are separated by school enrollment, it's actually the records that a team will have against schools from across the state. We will take, for example, Culver Academy. Culver Academy, by enrollment, is a 3A school. Sometimes it's a 4A school based on the sport.
Right.
But because of the competition they play throughout the state and the record against that competition, they will have a higher record than, say, a Hamilton Southeastern A, a Riley, a Valparaiso, a Lakeshore St. Joe. And what the state will do is they will rank the teams 1 through, in this case, this year, it was 33.
Yep.
As Class 1A had 5 teams. And then they will bracket the teams, whether it's a bracket of 4, a bracket of 8, a bracket of 5,
yep,
and so on. And that will determine which team is in what class. And it's always the most exciting time of the year in the early to middle part of February, when all the teams kind of find out what class are we going to be in, who's our first round opponent. I know when I was a senior, I mean, we were teetering on whether we were going to be low 3A or high 2A. We were hoping that we were going to get into that 7, 8 range in 3A, even though it meant we were playing at that time a Park Tudor, a Culver Varsity B, and our hearts kind of sank when we were given a 5 seed rather, in the 2A bracket, and we had to play New Haven in a 5 o'clock game down in Fishers. Whereas if we were the 7 seed or the 8 seed, we would have been playing a primetime 9:30 game at Carmel. So there's a lot of anxious moments, that comes with the ranking of all the teams. But yeah, I remember our senior season like it was yesterday, with that meeting that came out, and that was Christian and I played on the same team. We just kind of looked at each other like, well, this is the draw that we were given. We might as well make the best of it. And unfortunately for us, we came a goal short in the 98 state championship game to a very talented Perry squad, which is now South Stars Red, against guys that, 22 years later, I'm still talking to them every month when their kids come up and play in the hockey time tournaments and whatnot. So, and we always talk about, remember 98. I always talk about it from the losing end, and they're always talking about it on the winning end. But that is the explanation from classes. So it's not uncommon to see a normal 6A school in Lake Central be in 2A in hockey, and then vice versa, where when Park Tudor had a program, Park Tudor's a 1A school, but for hockey, you knew they were going to be in either that 4A or 5A bracket every year.
And I really do enjoy the way that the state does the classes here, because even if you had a bad season or a down season, you're still going to make one of the state tournaments regardless. And that still gives you the chance at an opportunity to make the best of what you have for the season and bring home a state title. And I think that should give a lot of push for some of those kids that are playing on the 1 or the 2A squads, because you still have something to fight for, rather than when you're playing in basketball or football or baseball or any of the other major sports in the state. Whereas if you're coming out and you're the lower seed in any of these tournaments, you're going to go up against some pretty prime talent. Whereas in this league itself, you're playing against like talent at the same level. And I think that makes it fair for those teams that had a hard season. And then at the same time, you're playing teams that you don't normally play. So with people from teams playing in Mitchell, you're going to get teams that play in Illiana, or you're going to get teams that play in the Hoosier League. It makes for a nice mix of teams to play, and in the end, it makes for a nice tournament to finish out the season.
And it definitely was. Last week we had the playdowns both in Fort Wayne and in South Bend. The Hoosier League, the Illiana League, the Independents, and Mitchell, all with teams that have made it to the final 10 on the second weekend here in March. As Hamilton Southeastern out of the Hoosier League, taking on St. Joe out of the Michiana High School Hockey League. Both teams are back on the ice. Hamilton Southeastern going from left to right on your computer screen or mobile device. They are decked out in the all-black uniforms with the red pants trimmed in red, white, and blue. Made up of kids from both Hamilton Southeastern and Fishers High Schools in Hamilton County. They're gathering around the visitors' bench and Adrian Render. And to our right, going from right to left, are the South Bend St. Joseph Indians, a pure South Bend St. Joe hockey team with the white jerseys trimmed in Columbia blue, white and black with the black pants, and those ever traditional white domes. Had to change my dome from black to white just before I got to St. Joe, and we didn't have the Indian heads or the arrows on the top. We used to have the Indian head on the front of the jerseys. Not anymore. Indians in script on the front in Columbia blue. Hamilton Southeastern, they've got HSE hockey in block white in the front of the jersey. 15 more minutes to decide it. It's Chad Kohlmeyer. He'll do the honors dropping the puck, as it'll be a power play for the Indians out of the break. Jaskowitz will go far side to Herendeen. And Luke will send it around the net. Meisberg here on the near side, half wall. He'll go back to Jaskowitz. Too far on the pass. I think he was going for Eckrich, just a little too much on the bounce. Tupper will send it back behind. Nice job by David DeSplinter to kind of make sure he didn't touch Kyle Tupper. Now Eckrich to the circle. Shot on, a nice blocker save by Kreider. Meisberg spins around one man. He'll get it to Eckrich. To Jaskowitz. 15 on the power play. Eckrich lets one fly. Nice right pad save by Kreider. So 2 shots on the power play, and Jaskowitz nearly lost the handle of it. DeSplinter on the forecheck. And Jaskowitz is going to get called for the penalty. It's going to be an interference penalty, and that'll knock off the last second of that penalty. 2 shots on the power play. Indians are 0 for 3 with the man advantage. And now they'll be short. They'll play a very abbreviated 4-on-4.
It was a little bit of a tough call there on Kuba. He kept his puck going towards to play the puck, but just getting that little extra elbow into the chest there stopped the play, and that's why we got the interference call coming out.
So Hamilton Southeastern 0 of 1 on the power play, 3 shots on the inaugural power play, and that took place a long time ago in the game's first couple minutes. As puck will go back behind the net, behind Tupper. And a little pop right out on the far side. Stewart going to walk it in, going to go down low. As now puck comes near side to Miller, can't control it, and he'll go back out to the neutral zone. Miller, he'll leave it to Grasso. Fans on the dump in, and Plowman going to continue to hound HSE players with his forecheck. Eckrich going to force Sievers to dump it in, and going all the way down is Hebert. And my, oh my.
That thing was bouncing all the way down.
That's what we're starting to teach the young defensemen. Just launch it. As
it's not going to hurt you at all, including on a penalty kill. You put it on net, anything can happen, including, as we were talking about in the intermission, with fresh ice.
There's Sheena going to send one right on, and Tupper using that catching glove snaps one out of the air.
Got down the butterfly, put that glove out there, snatched it up. Made that look, I think he made that look a little bit more, put a little bit more flair on that than there needed to be, but regardless, still made the big save.
Us goalies are used to that. As the puck comes out to DeSplinter, he'll let one fly, and it's loose out in front as Meisberg clears it away. Dangerous opportunity for Hamilton Southeastern. Now DeSplinter at the half boards on the far side. He'll send one on, and Tupper just calmly blockers it over the boards behind him and into the mesh netting.
Dane Becker was ready to go there in front of Tupper. Mishu Jaskowitz right behind him. That initial shot came in, hit Mishu right into the bottom part of his pant leg, came right and down in front of Baker, just unable to get it off there.
As Taylor gets his dump in blocked. And now behind the net comes HSE, and Tupper alertly smothers it. That could have gone all kinds of dangerous for South Bend St. Joe. 10 seconds remaining on the Kuba Jaskowitz minor penalty. And his brother Mishu will send it the length of the ice. And that will, in effect, end Hamilton Southeastern's second power play. Just a single shot on goal on the man advantage. As the puck's deflected in, no ice on the play. Tupper, he'll leave it from Mishu Jaskowitz. Puck's going to get popped down. Nice job by Brady Taylor. And he'll force it into the neutral zone. Jaskowitz going to turn. He'll give it to his defensive partner, Herendeen. Herendeen, nice cross-ice pass to Stockram. And now back comes HSE. Reynolds dumped it in. It hit off of Compton at first, and second opportunity is blocked by Jaskowitz. There's now Demlo. He'll dump it into the far corner where Herendeen will go back behind the net to Jaskowitz. Jaskowitz overskates the puck not once but twice. And the Indians going to be able to get the puck out of the zone. Herendeen flips it calmly into the neutral zone, where it'll be played by Liam Peters and then dumped back in by Reynolds. Tupper calmly puts it in the corner. I think that was anything but calm, as Taylor will fire it in cross ice.
I could sense your sarcasm.
There's a lot of sarcasm.
With that little pause, Tupper calmly.
Sarcasm is dripping on that one. As the puck will come into the neutral zone, Jaskowitz, he'll flip it in on the backhand and force Kreider to just use that paddle and put it away into the corner. Now Kerwin has to get around an official. Now gets it down low to Kiley. Kiley trying to find Kerwin streaking towards the front of the net. And Jaskowitz just calmly floats it right back in to the right of Kreider.
Fantastic job there by Grasso to get right in front of that pass and able to flip it out and end the threat that St. Joe was making.
As the puck is sent the length of the ice, it will be an icing call. And the face-off will go all the way back. It'll be to the left of sophomore goaltender Ethan Kreider, who has been outstanding for Hamilton Southeastern. 10:02 remaining in regulation time. Only 5 games in the history of the Indiana State High School Hockey Association have gone to overtime, one of which went to double. As the puck comes over to the far side, this Meisberg will give chase. Now back behind the net is Carter. He'll go up the ice to Max Sievers. Sievers has Stewart on the right side to no avail, but a nice keep in by Kincannon. Down low to Stewart, goes to the backhand, and a nice job by Tupper to stand tall behind his defense. Best scoring opportunity of the night for Hamilton Southeastern. Puck goes right out in front, another nice save by Tupper. Back-to-back scoring opportunities thwarted by Kyle Tupper.
Severs right there on the left side. He had a wide open net to go after and just got 2 under it. Tupper able to get right back over and deflect it wide.
If St. Joe ends up winning this state title, mark those 2 saves down, because he stayed tall in that one. Meisberg going to go back up to Herendeen. Herendeen lets it fly, and a nice glove save by Kreider, and he'll hold on. 8:56 to go in regulation. Hamilton Southeastern 0. St. Joseph 0. These 2 teams have met for the state championship 2 other times. Hamilton Southeastern won 2-1 in 2010 and 3-1 in 2012. HSE trying to make it 3 for 3 against the Indians, and it'll be an icing, and it'll go all the way back to the right of Ethan Kreider.
We were talking about pressure at the intermission, and that's what St. Joe's been doing so far here in this period, although HSE has been putting their own pressure on the other end, so we're pretty even so far here in the third period.
Ploman, he'll win the draw. Nice tie-up by Stockram. Stockram will get the puck. He'll get it to Taylor. Taylor's shot blocked originally, and Stockram here in the near corner. This is what Pete Stockram does best, a great forecheck as Jaskowitz loses control of the puck.
I think the HSE fans were looking for some sort of interference or hook there on Taylor.
I can actually see that. That was very, very close. As Ploman loses the handle of the puck. Nice little check to keep possession. And now the puck will get dumped in to the far side. Herendeen calmly puts it over here to the near side of Jaskowitz. As Mishu gets around one, can't get around two. As Stockram will leave it for Mishu, and he'll send it the length. And it'll cross the goal line, it'll go for icing. And the faceoff comes all the way back to the St. Joe end. 7:47 to go in regulation time. We've crowned 3 Illiana state champions. Lake Central White won the 1A. Bishop Knoll the 2A. Crown Point Red the 3A. This will be the first non-Illiana state champion today. But we have a long way to go in this one. As Hosinski's going to dump it in. Miller will bring it to the half boards. Hosinski going to hand it off to Meisberg. Meisberg makes one move. He gets tripped up. No call. Hosinski back to Hebert. Lost control of the puck momentarily. And now it's a break for HSE. Tupper going to fire it out into the neutral zone. And then gets it sent all the way back. And once again, I think everyone wearing Columbia blue and white wants this one to go all the way down.
Every coach on the St. Joe bench is calling for that to go all the way. And that's what's going to happen there. Didn't get it on the first time it happened back in the second period, but this time I think it was a little bit more noticeable. Not only by the officials on the ice, everyone in front of us, and all 4 coaches on the bench.
There are probably 1,000 St. Joe referees here right in front of us, and they all made the right call. So Sinski, he's going to come out, sends it right on, rebound, goes to Jaskowitz. Jaskowitz going to let it fly. It's blocked by Stewart. Hosinski gets tripped up, and there's going to be a penalty, and St. Joseph will go back on the power play. It'll be a tripping call. HSE fans don't like it.
It's the right call, though.
But it is the right call. So St. Joseph goes back to the power play.
I think that's the splinter going in for that.
That'll be Colin Stewart on the trip.
Coming in from behind, he was trying to break it up, but got the stick in front of the legs of Hosinski and tripped him over. It was an easy call to put.
Jaskowitz with a tip, no good. And now Kerwin, he'll settle it down. 8 shots on the 3 previous power plays for the Columbia blue and white. Meisberg, he'll go up top to Jaskowitz. It's too strong. And now he's going to win a foot race with Grasso, and he will do so. But he gets it as far as the blue line. It was just kept in. Nice job by Compton. And now DeSplinter will send it back into the St. Joe end. Minute 25 to go on the power play. B.J. Eckridge, full head of steam. He's going to cut to the blue line. He lost control of it, leaves it for Meisberg. Back down low for Eckridge, goes right in front to Meisberg, and it's nicely blocked away by Kreider. 3 shots on this power play for the Indians. Eckridge and Meisberg doing battle here on the near side. Time continuing to tick on the power play. Jaskowitz to Eckridge. He'll snap one off. Kreider lost the handle of it momentarily and then regained his composure and picked up the puck.
Kerwin with another nice opportunity right there, trying going for that rebound. But as we've seen all game, right off of those rebounds, Kreider just leaping on top of the puck and ended the play right there.
12 shots on the 4 power plays for the Indians so far, and they still have 52 seconds to work with. Eckridge, he'll win the draw back to Herendeen. He'll let it fly. It's deflected by Kreider to the near corner. Eckridge, he'll go back to Jaskowitz. He'll fire it in. A nice job by Kerwin to take away the eyes of Kreider. Back up to Jaskowitz. Thinks about letting it fly. He does, and it's tipped on, and a nice save by Kreider. That's the best save he's made all night on a nice deflection by Calvin Kerwin. And that puck was going right for the top corner on the blocker side. .32 seconds left on the man advantage for the Indians. And that puck deflected, but will stay in the neutral zone. As grabbing it and sending it As far as the blue line on the far side is Sheena. Now Jaskowitz. He'll fire it in around the net. Kreider's going to watch it go right behind him. 13 on the power play for the Indians to work with. And sending it out of the zone is DeSplinter. Now Jaskowitz. He'll go far side to Calvin Kerwin. Kerwin calmly dumps it in, and the power play is up. 0 for 4 are the Indians tonight. And the puck will be shot out of play by David DeSplinter. 4:45 remaining in regulation time. What more could we ask for in a game with two of the top programs in the state of Indiana?
We knew it was going to be very defensive. Lots of great signs on both ends, and they showed it throughout the week, last weekend, for both of these teams to get here.
As Hebert's going to let one fly, it's going to go just wide. And now HSE with a chance to break it out. Jaskowitz flips it calmly back into the HSE zone where Sheena will control it. Sheena going to go far side, too far, and it's going to be an icing with 4:26 to go in regulation. So the Indians will put out Stockram, Ploman, Taylor, Mishu, Jaskowitz, and Herendeen. As HSE wins the draw momentarily. Taylor, nice dish to Herendeen, lets it fly, and a nice save by Kreider. Kreider has been the man in net today for HSE. That's a nice tip by Baker. No icing on the play. Theobald, the first to get to it for HSE. Puts it in front, goes to the backhand, and it's smothered by Tupper, and it goes in! Andy Grasso picks up the goal. St. Joe asking about a high stick. But Grasso's going to get credit for the goal. It's his 7th of the season. And HSE has a 1-0 lead.
That was just one of those fights right in front of the net. No one was giving up on it. Grasso right there. Knocks it in with his stick. I would say he kept it right below the shoulder line to knock it in. It was a good goal.
So Grasso on the goal. So Grasso from Theobald at 11:04. And with under 3.5 to play, HSE can smell a state title. Puck is down low. It's corralled by Jaskowitz. He'll get it to Hosinski. Now to Ekrich. Ekrich loses the handle of the puck. HSE is just going to calmly get into the neutral zone. And a big check by Jaskowitz. It's going to be a penalty.
Yep. It's going to be a right call, too, because Jaskowitz brought his elbow up right to the face, knocked him down. And you can tell with something like that, from that goal, that's starting to rattle up the Indians. And we both know Kuba's a very physical player.
So HSE back to the power play. 0 for 2 on the night. 4 shots on goal. And this is a huge kill for the Indians. Ploman, he'll win the draw. Ploman and Stockram out there start the penalty kill for the Indians. As Stewart, he'll cross the blue line coming in. Jaskowitz thought about a big hit. Instead, he's going to let Stewart go around the net. Ploman wins the puck battle, and Herendeen's going to throw it the length of the ice. Ethan Kreider, who has just been outstanding for HSE, going to leave it for his defenseman. Stockram makes one man miss. A good forecheck by Stockram, as he'll most likely head to the bench for a line change. Plowman forces the puck to go down deep in the zone. 2:17 to go in regulation. HSE leads it 1-0 on a goal by Andy Grasso.
Now watch those hands.
As DeSplinter has a hold right in front of the net, right in front of Chappelle. And now here come the Indians, 2-on-1. Jaskowitz, he's going to shoot, and a save by Kreider as going right to the net with Stockram. And now we get some extracurricular activities afterwards.
Now we got one penalty coming out. I think that Sievers is going to the box.
As
He's
Kohlmeyer
throwing a
makes,
fist in there, giving him a rough.
as Kohlmeyer makes the call, that is the break that St. Joe needed. .13:08 the time of the penalty. Sievers for roughing. Eckrich, Meisberg, Herendeen, and Kiley are the 4 Indians on the ice for Chris Kleva. As Meisberg will get it behind the net. Tupper anchored in net, no call on the trip. Eckrich behind the net, throws a blind pass out to Meisberg. And the puck will be corralled by HSE. Now Sean Kiley. Gonna get pressured. We'll get the puck up to Meisberg. Meisberg, beautiful cross-ice pass to Eckrich. Eckrich will cross the blue. He'll leave it off for Herendeen. Herendeen shot gloved easily by Kreider, and he'll hold on.
I kind of like what St. Joe's been doing here. As soon as the play goes in, the shot goes up, they're getting right in the face of Kreider, and that's starting to put a little bit more pressure on him for one. On top of it, we've seen how a retaliation penalty came on Sievers after that first time that happened, as St. Joe calls timeout with 1:16 to go.
Face-off will be to the right of Ethan Kreider. They don't give most valuable players out in the state tournament anymore, nor do they name an all-state tournament team. But I'll tell you what, if I could have one goalie as the MVP and one make the all-tournament team, we are watching the two right now. Both of them have just played outstanding, not just tonight, but in the playdowns as well. We're talking about Ethan Kreider from HSE and Kyle Tupper from South Bend St. Joe.
Now we're talking here in this timeout. You think we're going to see Tupper stay off the ice, or you think we're going to get through this 9 seconds of 4-on-4? And it looks like he's going to stay out.
I got to believe 4-on-4, you get the whistle. Then you pull Tupper for the 6-on-4 advantage.
And the nice thing for St. Joe is they'll have that 6-on-4 for the rest of the game.
So Tupper will be at the hash marks. We'll keep an eye on him. Herendeen, Jaskowitz, Eckrich, Meisberg out for St. Joe. It'll be DeSplinter, both DeSplinters on the ice, along with Grant Compton and Demlo. And that's going to be
should be an icing.
No, they're going to wave it off. So St. Joe on the power play the rest of the game. 1 minute remaining in regulation. Tupper heading to the bench. Here comes Eckrich. He's in through the neutral zone to the blue line. Tupper at the bench, 6-on-4. Shot on by Eckrich. Just goes wide. And the puck will be shot the length of the ice.
And no ice on this one.
Jaskowitz cuts in front of the empty net. He's already beaten one man. He's going to let it fly. Shot on, and Kreider makes the save.
Now see, again, we were just talking about this. St. Joe, put that extra pressure on to kind of muster up some frustration there for HSE. At the same time, you don't want them to get there with the frustration themselves.
Adrian Render has the timeout in his pocket. He elects to use it to give his penalty killer some rest. 34.9 to go in regulation time. We have seen some wild and wacky things in the state tournament. Last weekend, Riley had a 2-1 lead. We thought they were going to book their trip to Dyer. Valparaiso had other ideas. scoring twice in a matter of seconds. And they ended up playing in the 2A state championship. HSE huddled around head coach Adrian Render, the former Cathedral Chatard product. And the Indians huddling around their head coach, former St. Joe and Notre Dame product, Chris Cleva. The face-off will be to the left of Kreider. Regardless of how this ends up, this has been a whale of a state championship game.
I think we're going to see how St. Joe can come out of this. They just got to make sure they're spacing themselves right. Keep shooting at the net. Go for those rebounds.
It'll be Stockram, Kerwin, Meisberg, Eckrich, Jaskowitz, and Herendeen, the 6 on the ice. As a little bit of mass confusion going on for HSE. As it'll be Demlow, the Desplinters, and Compton. Eckrich wins the draw to Herendeen. Herendeen calmly puts it in the corner. It'll be shot all the way around and out. 25 seconds to go in the state championship game. Jaskowitz behind the net, now with 20. Last chance for the Indians. Jaskowitz will fire it in behind the net. Eckrich beats his man to the puck, Meisberg. He'll get it down deep to Eckrich. Eckrich puts it in front, no good. It's going to be dumped out, and Hamilton Southeastern are the 4A class champions. It was an Andy Grasso goal with 3:56 remaining in regulation time. That was the difference. Ethan Kreider was outstanding in goal for HSE. The Indians threw everything but the kitchen sink at Kreider. But HSE comes away with the state title in a 1-0 classic here at the Midwest Training and Ice Center. In one of the best traditions in all of sports, the two teams will line up. And of course, the two goaltenders will head their respective lines, Kyle Tupper and Ethan Kreider. And nothing but mutual respect for the two goaltenders.
You know, JP, when you really look at this game, I don't think one outplayed the other. It was even on the ice, even between the goaltenders, and you knew something out of the ordinary was going to win this game. That's what happened with this goal with 4 minutes to go.
We're going to wait for the trophy presentation as both teams will line up on their respective blue lines. We'll be back for the trophy presentation right after this. As the St. Joe Indians salute their fans, Hamilton Southeastern doing the same with theirs. And what a game.
We expected it to be very physical. We knew it was going to be very defensive as we had one of the best defensive teams in the state and one of the best offensive teams in the state go at it. And we were not disappointed in how this went.
As the South Bend St. Joe Indians will be recognized with the runner-up medals in the Class 4A state championship.
Going to go down the roster numerically here to start.
Teddy Hosinski, a freshman this year. What a career he has in store for him. Taylor, a part of that sophomore line with Stockerman and Pullman. That has the opportunity to be one of the best lines in the state in the next couple of years.
Number 8, Preston Parker. Number 9, Hayden Eli.
I think you and I both talked throughout the season that this is a young St. Joseph team. For them to get to where they're at in this game with the talent that they have with their young guys, this is going to be an exciting team to watch for the next 2 to 3 years.
They'll lose 5 seniors off this team. We just saw one get awarded, BJ Eckrich. They'll also lose Jake Kiley, Kuba Jaskowitz, Luke Herendine, and Thomas Willer off this state championship roster. But you look down the road, you only have 2 juniors. Here's one of them, Calvin Kerwin. The other one, we always say goaltending is one of the most valuable pieces a team could have, and they were bringing both back in Kyle Tupper and Zach Yergler.
I think I was talking to you late last fall. Tupper is also the goaltender for the St. Joseph soccer team who went incredibly far in their state tournament this year. He gets all the practice he needs in the fall, and then once he hits the ice, he's just using them soccer leaps right in front of the net.
The ovation that young man is going to get when his name is called out. Between him and Kreider, they better raise the decibel level in this building.
As it should be.
As he'll be coming on down the road.
Charlie Eckrich getting his medal. He played a great game on the ice tonight.
Number 22, Kuba Jaskowitz.
Here's one of those seniors that will be dearly missed next season in Kuba Jaskowitz. Proudly wearing the captain's C. Peter Stockram again. That second line full of sophomores. Can't wait to watch them grow and mature. Of the top 9 forwards on the depth chart, you've got 5 sophomores, a freshman, a junior, and 2 seniors. We said young offensive guns, and they're going to be coming back ready to go next season.
Number 28, Missouri Jaskowitz.
The younger of the Jaskowitzes getting his medal. He's going to put in as just as much of a body blocker as Kuba has in his years.
There's Jack Pullman, center of that sophomore line, and we'll keep it quiet for this next young man.
Number 31, Kyle Tupper.
We wondered who would replace Dolan Gilbert, who was absolutely fantastic last year, and we got our answer this season. Both Yergler and Tupper were just outstanding, as Thomas Willer getting his state runner-up medal, as is Luke Herendine.
Coaches, head coach Chris Cleveland, assistant coach Alan Frank, assistant coach David Gilbert, assistant coach Nicholas Cleveland.
Fantastic coaching staff now walking out to get theirs. Chris Cleva. We saw Nick, Al Frank getting his.
Dave Gilbert, unfortunately, not with the team today. Also a member of that fantastic coaching staff. I remember having to make this skate in '98 as we got our state runner-up trophy. Not an easy skate to make, but those 4, now 5 senior Indians have nothing to be ashamed about. They played a whale of a game. They had a great season this year, and they have done St. Joe very proud. All 6 of the defensemen for HSE are either juniors or sophomores, and you got 2 goaltenders that are juniors and sophomores. Kincannon was phenomenal tonight for HSE. Cam Theobald gets an assist on the game-winning goal. His forecheck made that entire play happen down low.
Yep.
This forward group graduates 6 seniors. I found one youngster that played extremely well is the man that just got his award, Keaton Demlow, who played outstanding. Josh Dieter, one of the 6 seniors on the HSE A roster. Between DeSplinter, Compton, and Stewart, that's 59 goals on that grouping.
And the captain, DeSplinter, just getting a great ovation from the HSE fans.
Andy Grasso with the game winner, and a nice ovation from the HSE faithful. HSE traveled extremely well today. As Grant Compton, no relation to the Compton Family Ice Arena. As Aiden Hagerty is going to get his. What a tandem they have coming back. Wouldn't surprise me if we see these 2 teams back again for a state championship.
Hagerty will be back as a senior, Kreider a junior. And even though he didn't start tonight, Hagerty still got a great ovation from the fans.
Eric Bacco, a big physical forward. He'll return next year for HSE. And you know who this is going to come for. What an ovation for Kreider.
Kreider with the win today, getting his 3rd shutout of the season.
Number 66, Sam Carter.
Sam Carter, one of those speedy forwards that the Royals put on here tonight.
Number 71, Colin Stewart.
Colin Stewart will graduate with a state title. Didn't get on the scoreboard, 29 points on the season, but he caused St. Joe all kinds of fits in the game today. Another member of that senior class, Dane Baker, he was all over the ice, throwing his body around. This is going to be Ian Smith. Ty DeSplinter said, Smitty, you go. Now DeSplinter's going to get his. He is a phenomenal little player. And Max Sievers will round out the group.
Your coaches, Adrian Render, Bob Rozier, Dan Baker, Rob Fitzgerald.
As Adrian Render is going to make that too familiar walk and pick up the state championship medal as HSE wins their 7th state title. 98, 09, 10, 12, 15, 18, and they can add 20 to their impressive collection. As IHSA, Indiana State High School Hockey Association President Steve Bartles is going to hand off that state championship trophy as the coaching staff gets soaked with water. And Steve Bartles, I think you ran out of eligibility, Steve, but the captains are going to come over. It'll be DeSplitter, Compton, Grasso. And that one's going to go in the trophy case at Fishers. Your Class 4A 2020 state champions, Hamilton Southeastern, in a 1-0 victory in an absolute classic over South Bend St. Joe. Nick, another thrilling high school season comes to a close. We saw in the first game Valparaiso fall mightily to a Bishop Knoll Warriors squad 2-1. The nightcap did not disappoint, 1-0 Hamilton Southeastern. Both teams, we tell our kids when they're younger, leave everything on the ice, and win or lose, you shouldn't be disappointed with your effort. No one on this ice, no one on either team should be disappointed with the way they played.
No.
Whether they played one shift or 50 shifts, they left it all on the ice, whether you're an HSE player or a South Bend St. Joe player.
Yeah, it's disappointing if you're a St. Joe player because you lost such a close game. At the same time, I don't think they could have fought any harder than they already did tonight that they need to put their heads down about. I honestly can't think of any point in this game where St. Joe looked sloppy. They weren't making the plays. I think they did everything right tonight. Just the unfortunate bounce of a puck was what made the difference in this game.
HSE now 7-time state champions after a 1-0 win over South Bend St. Joe. Lake Central White took the 1A. Bishop Knoll the 2A. Crown Point Red the 3A. HSE the 4A with the 5 to be decided between Carmel and Culver. That's going to do it from Midwest Training and Ice Center. For my broadcast partners, Nick Duranick, for Dante Stanton, this is JP Jobert. Once again, the final score. HSE 1, South Bend St. Joe 0. HSE